Good morning, Kangen family. My name is Curtis Goebel, and this is this week's Kangen Snippet. And this week we're going to talk about the difference between a solid plate and a mesh plate. Now, a lot of the knockoffs say, guess what? We have a mesh plate. It's better technology than Enagic. It is, it's so much better. It's up to date. It's the newest thing out there. They even come up with these really cool words like, we have a hybrid plate. So it's like a solid mesh plate. Guess what? There is no such thing as a solid mesh plate. It's either solid or it's mesh. It's like calling something a jumbo shrimp or a smart politician. There is no such thing as any of those things. So I'm going to show you the differences. This actually is a piece of steel. Okay, this is a 5-inch by 7-inch piece of steel. This is the size of our plates. Can you imagine that? It's just a little thin, it's just a little thin piece of steel, but it is solid. Okay. Now, I weighed this, and I decided, okay, I wonder how many mesh or stranded things I can get out of this. Remember, again, this is only a representation, but it will give you the idea of why they use mesh plates. So, this is solid. This is also steel. This is called steel wool, and it's a stranded steel, okay? The interesting thing is, in order to get as many of these as this in weight, to weigh the same, I have to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can get 8 pieces of steel wool out of 1 piece of solid. Now, why is that so important? This is the reason why, and this is how they end up phrasing the knockoff machines. I'm going to put these 8 pieces right over here, and I'm only going to grab 1, okay? So let me show you what happens. If you take this 1 piece of steel wool and I start to unfold it. Look, I can unfold it and it will get to be, now that little piece of steel is now this big. I can unfold this piece. So let's unfold this again and let's see what happens. So I can unfold it again. This is so much fun. You guys should do this and play with this at home because it's just so much fun. Especially if you're like a scout or you have like young men around. They love it. Okay, so I unfold it. There's twice. I can fold it. I can unfold it again. And I can just keep unfolding it. And I can just keep stretching it out and stretching and stretching. Because with a strand, you're able to do that. Here's the great part of it. And the interesting part of it. And it's so crazy to me that they do this. So look at the size. Here we go again. I took that 1 piece and I was able to unfold it to be about 4 times the same square inch as 1 piece of solid. So I got 4 stranded plates out of 1 piece of steel wool, and I have 8 of them. I can do that with 8. So 8 times 4, that's 32. I can get 32 plates out of the same solid plate. Now, let's talk about voltage in watts. Now, a couple of you are going to text back and they're going to say, guess what? There's amps, there's volts, there's watts. That is 100% true. This is only a representation. So, let's take this piece of steel wool, and I'm only going to use this little tiny piece of it, okay? I'm only going to use this much. The rest of it I'm going to put over there. Electricity generates heat. There's a reason why, with a solid plate, you can have 230 watts of continuous power go through it. The knockoffs will say, guess what? We have 800 watts, up to 800 watts. We are so much better than Enagic. We are so much better than Kangen. They only have 230 watts. We have up to 800 watts. Think how they phrase that. Up to 800 watts. Every single machine has what's called a switch mode power supply. Our machine is the only one that uses a transformer that transforms the electricity consecutively. So it's constant. So as soon as the machines turn on, our plates get 230 watts, constant power. Boom, 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 boom. The knockoffs, because they use a switch mode power supply without a transformer, they can say up to 800 watts because guess what? The power turns on and then off, and then on and then off. If you tried to boil a bowl of spaghetti on the stove and you had to turn the stove on and off and on and on rather than just leaving it on, it would take you forever. And here's the other thing. On a mesh plate or a stranded plate, it will not handle the heat. Electricity, volts, amps, watts, generate heat, okay? It's just the way it is. Whoops. So it generates heat. So this represents electricity. This is our metal plate. Now, I am going to put this battery, 9-volt battery, on this metal plate. Guess what? Nothing. It's not even getting warm because there's not enough energy in here to heat up this size of a plate. Nothing. Okay? Now, the knockoffs, when they use, I'm going to get a little bit closer. So when they use a wire mesh or a stranded technology, they take the same amount of material, they end up making it so thin and so many more plates because it's so much cheaper. They can get 32 plates out of the same size as one of ours. And then once they give it electricity, if they really gave it 800 watts, it would just fry, it would melt immediately. If they gave it 230 continuous watts of power, it would do the same thing. I'm going to show you why. Look, 9-volt battery, stranded thing. All I'm going to do is touch it. I'm not even going to put it. Remember how the plate, look, I'm just going to do this. That's it. Look, it's literally caught on fire. This is what happens. If it was actually given a 230 watt of continuous power, it would just automatically, it would automatically, careful, I don't want to burn my building down. But look at that, it's still burning. Man, I sure hope this opened your eyes a little bit. I love giving these Kangen snippets, and this has been definitely a fun one. So remember the difference between solid and mesh, and always remember our plates, solid, highest square inch surface area, medical grade titanium, double dipped in platinum, 230 watts of continuous power. You cannot go wrong. My name is Curtis Goebel, and thank you so much for joining me with this week's Kangen snippet.